Now what?
G'day, it's Woody and we're back on the range, and you've probably got yourself your sick pump action, like an MPRmini. You got yourself a stack of mags because of magazine limits, and you got maybe a radio and a little bit of medical. Now you're thinking, now what? How am I supposed to carry this stuff, use this stuff? Well, today we're going to go through how to set up a chest rig. We're interrupting this video to let you know that the legends at Sword have teamed up with me to bring you the chance to get a leg up on your own rig build. Watch to the end of this video to find out how. Setting up a chest rig is probably one of the most personal things you can do for your hunting and varminting setup. So you're going to have to think about what you want to carry, how you want to carry it, what works for you, and if you've never done it before, then you're probably going to buy a chest rig, set it up, reconfigure it and reconfigure it again to sort of figure out what you like. I'm going to set one up how I like, and hopefully that gives you some ideas and hopefully break some of the stigma around chest rigs, because we're not playing soldier. This is tools for real world use for when we're in the field controlling feral pests. The first thing you're going to want to do is actually think about what you want to carry. Don't just carry stuff because your favorite YouTuber told you to. Think about what you want to carry and why you want to carry it. So for a lot of us, we're probably carrying a stack of mags. Because of magazine limits, we have to carry, more than several. You're probably going to want some sort of radio if you're working with people or working on a property. No doubt there's going to be people on UHF that you might need to talk to or get a hold of in an emergency or just for standard operations. I like to carry a little bit of medical. The basics, I would say, like the bare minimum, I would say, is a good tourniquet, set of chest seals, some gloves, a Sharpie. So if you do apply the tourniquet, you can write down the time, because when things happen, you can easily forget things like time, and that sort of stuff is critical if you're handing off a patient or a casualty, and a bandage. And a set of shears. So it's a good idea before applying tourniquets or looking for bleeds and that sort of thing to remove the clothing, remove stuff that's covering it so you can actually see what's going on. Obviously, I hope to never use this stuff. I don't plan on using it, but I plan to use it just in case. This is obviously for accidental gunshot wounds. We are working with firearms, and that is a high risk activity, whether we like it or not. And you owe it to yourself and to the people you love to be prepared. I'm actually going to do a video segment on medical stuff, so please subscribe and stay tuned for that. So special thanks to Sword Australia, who supplied all the gear that we're going to use in today's video. Most of it you'll see is in the new Aus Terrain. Sword are in the middle of expanding their range to include Aus Terrain on a lot of popular pouches and accessories. It's not all there yet, so I've had to grab some multicam stuff to get this video out, but expect to see all this stuff available in AU Terrain, which I think is a great pattern and colour for this type of environment, especially here in southeast Queensland. So you need to choose a platform. So on this, I've gone with the CTR sniper rig. I chose this because it has a lot of molly. When I set up a rig, I don't like to build it out too far from my body. I like to keep it quite slim. This allows me to fit everything that I intend on carrying. So step one is you've decided what you want to carry. You've then found the pouches and accessories that allow you to carry it easily, comfortably. The next step is to start on a layout. So you're going to think about how this rig sits on your body. You're going to think about where you want the heavy things like your ammunition to sit, and you're going to think about where you want your quick grab items so you can grab them quickly if you need to. So for me, I'm going to lay out 5 mags right in front. I'm going to do a base layer of 3 mags, and then I'm going to plus up on the front of these mag patches, because the front is molly as well, with an extra 2 mags, which gives me my 5 across the chest. I'm going to have my radio patch off to the side here next to my magazine, so it'll be on my left hand side of my chest. I have my shears patch, which sits in the east-west configuration, and I am more than likely going to try and grab these with my right hand. So I'm going to have them handles facing right so I can pull them out, and that's going to sit right there above the magazines. I then have my tourniquet wrap, You can mount a tourniquet with something as simple as a piece of bungee cord, but then keep in mind that tourniquet is being exposed to all the UV, weather and that sort of thing, and it will degrade over time. And tourniquets are not something that you want to have a worn out one. You want to have one that's in good working order, it's not going to break and that sort of thing. So tourniquet in a wrap there. The med patch, so this is going to carry everything else. So this is going to carry the gloves, the marker, the bandage, the chest seal and that sort of thing, and that's going to go there. So at this point it's starting to wrap around to this point, so it's going to sit right here like this. Then for the anything patch, I like to call it, it's called a dump patch. The CTR rig has a Velcro attachment point at the base of it, so this is going to dangle right in front of me like that. I'm going to keep it wrapped up like that so it's not in the way, it's not doing anything while I'm not using it. And then when I need to use it, I can dump the buckle, rip it open and put anything in there. You can do anything, any extra things you need to carry. So if you're carrying an extra big set of binoculars, or if you're doing some shotgun work, you can put a couple boxes of shotgun shells, just dump them in there. It really is an anything patch. And when you're not using it, it just sits wrapped up there, doesn't take up any room, and there's no harm in having it. One thing I don't have that I might consider in the future, because I do run shotguns a little bit, is a shotgun shell holder to go down this side of me. That'll allow me, when I'm on the shotgun, to grab shells and put them in through the breech on this side, without having to build an entirely different rig. So I can have spare shells down here next to the radio patch where I have a bit of extra space. So now I'm going to start applying all the molly and start threading all these patches into the vest. I'm going to start, because I like to keep everything centered and magazines are going to be my heavy item, I'm going to keep them in the front. I'm going to start from the center and then work my way out. That way I don't accidentally miss a column and then end up with something that's off to one side that is a mistake. So sword molly is extremely high quality. And you just start from the top. If you've never used molly before, it's just threading in and out. So into the rig first and then back into the patch. Just like that. So rig, patch, then again. Rig, patch, and that's it. It's very simple. It's a very solid and secure way of attaching, you know, nylon objects. So when we're on the last row, we line up the Velcro retainers with the ends of the molly strap, and then we just tuck in the retainers like that, and that is one patch secured. These mag patches have a bungee cord, so if you're running through the bush or jumping down a berm or doing anything crazy, you can have the bungee on there, which will stop the mag jumping out. If you're worried about grabbing a mag quickly, you can just run the bungee off to the side, and that allows you to grab the magazine out. Keep in mind, patches take a little bit of wearing in, so that feels really snug right now. As the patch sort of expands and grows to the shape of the magazine, that'll become a little bit smoother to operate. So I'm going to keep working and do the next magazine patches and then move on to the other stuff that we're putting on here as well. Now that I have all the molly patches and holders mounted onto the rig, theoretically where I like them, now it's time to load the rig up, make sure everything fits and works as I intended it to, and then after that we'll get the rig on and start adjusting the size, and I'll show you how to do that as well to fit it comfortably and in a practical way. So with shear handles, I'm thinking about how I'm going to grab them. If I mount them this way, my thumb is in the finger hole. If I mount them this way, When I go to grab them, thumbs in the thumb hole, fingers in the finger hole, they come out of the patch the same way that I'm going to use them. So the sword shear holder comes with a little lanyard with a little Velcro and button retainer. That way they're not going to just fall out of the patch unexpectedly, but you can grab them just by ripping that retainer and pulling out like that. Let's load some mags. Let's talk about magazine orientation. When you've got your rifle in this hand, I'm right-handed, and you're changing magazines, think about the orientation that the magazine's going to go into the rifle. I like these long form magazines. They're still restricted to 10 rounds because it's a category B rifle. So I like the long ones because they're easy to grab, easy to take in and out of patches, easy to manipulate into the gun. With the short little 10 round mags, they're almost swallowed up completely by the mag well on the pump guns like the Wedgetail. Anyway, orientation. So I'm thinking about the orientation that's going to go in the gun, and so I'm thinking about the orientation of the bullets, and it's worth just mocking, practicing. Okay, I'm going to pull out like this, and it's going to go in like this. Yep, bullets are facing the right way. So bullets are going to face to my right. Tourniquets. So when you get a tourniquet, obviously it's going to be wrapped in plastic. It's no good to you when seconds count if it's still wrapped in the plastic. And then I like to have it just double folded, so open like that. I can slip over a leg, or I can, loosen and go around as well. And then to stow, it's simply like that with the windlass sitting there like this. This is the D9 Pro tourniquet, which is from the Ukraine. It is a very proven, very reliable, very strong setup. Again, I'll go into this medical stuff in more detail in a separate video. But when putting a tourniquet in a patch, have it so it's ready to use. The tourniquet patch is a wrap style patch. We have a bungee style retainer for the base of the tourniquet, so the skinny end. Settle that in nicely into its base, and then we fold up our edges and we wrap the tourniquet back up. Keeps it protected, keeps it out of the weather, keeps it in great condition for a long time. In my med patch, now check this out, this is very cool. This is a tearaway med patch. So when I was threading it in, it's actually just a Velcro MOLLE panel, and this has the male side of the Velcro, and that sticks back on there. So when you need the stuff that's in here, you can just rip it off and then work with it in front of you, rather than trying to work under your own armpit if you've mounted it to the side like I have. This is fitted with more bungee inside. I'm going to use the big bungee to hold the trauma bandage. And this is mostly so things just don't explode everywhere when you rip this patch open and the adrenaline's pumping and that sort of thing. It's a bit more controlled. I'm going to put the gloves in the opposite side. Chest seals, don't crush them, fold them in half. They come as a pair obviously, so if there's a straight through wound, you can do a front side and a back side. Don't crumple them. There's a vented chest seal. If you're rough with this and really crush it down, then you will damage the vent. So I want to keep that in good condition, so I'm going to lay this flat. Most med patches are going to be at least big enough to take a whole set of chest seals, so they're not being folded or creased on that vent, and then therefore they're useless and not working. Oh, and don't forget the Sharpie marker, just in case we do use that tourniquet. And that is a med patch. I'm going to line that back up on its MOLLE panel, and then we just have the safety clip which is attached to the MOLLE panel, so that if for whatever reason that gets caught on a bush or something and it does tear off the Velcro, it's not going to fall on the ground and get lost. It's still going to be attached to the safety clip. That is all the components on the rig. So just to recap, we've got the anything patch, we've got the med patch with the tourniquet wrap next to it, I got 5 magazines, I got a radio, and I got a set of shears that's going to sit high on my chest. There, like that. So now the next step is to get the rig on my body and start adjusting the straps to suit my body and my style. The idea is to not make it too loose, so it's not, you know, jiggling, rubbing you when you're moving around and that sort of thing, but not too snug that it's not allowing you to take a full breath. We still need to leave enough room for our chest to fill up with air, especially when we're in the outdoors and we're running after things, we're getting exercise, so we need to leave enough room for that. So I've just taken one end off the back strap, and this will allow me to throw the rest of it over my head, and then I'll just do up the back strap. Making sure none of my straps are twisted. If you don't notice that right away, any adjustments you make now might become null and void once you untwist the strap. I then pass the back strap around my body and connect it onto this part here. And I make adjustments here, and that stops the rig doing this, hitting me on my stomach the whole time. So I make my little adjustments there, and then the straps on the shoulders do two things. So it's holding the rig onto my chest, of course. It's also setting the height. The shorter those straps are, the higher that's going to sit. Another feature of this rig is a pocket on the inside, so if you're using maps or other documents that you want to keep on you, you can slot them in there and it's going to be on the inside of your rig there. I'm going to make some slight adjustments to the inside, to the top shoulder strap. I'm going to raise the rig up just a little bit. About right. So again, you might have to take this on and off a few times. That feels really good actually. You know, height wise and tension around my chest. Check your motion. Take full breaths. Check the tension. That feels really good to me. Now, if you're not a really big guy, you're going to end up with a lot of strap left over. And if you plan on staying fit and healthy and not becoming a really big guy, then you are probably going to want to shorten these straps so they're not hanging around and touching the back of your leg and stuff like that. If you do decide to cut these straps, don't forget to seal them with fire. So get a lighter or something like that. Once you've made the cut, seal where you made the cut. Because it's nylon, it will melt that plastic and seal those. Otherwise, it will start to fray, and that fray will just grow and grow and grow, and it will wreck your brand new chest rig. So now, I'm going to check how comfortable it is with my rifle. And that sits there. Very comfortable. I feel like I could work and walk all day with this. So that's it. That's the basics on how you set up a chest rig. Don't just do it because I said it. Make sure you're thinking about what you're carrying and why you're carrying it. Think about what you want on your body versus in your pack. Of course, you can wear a pack on top with this. Think about how you like to set it up and what's going to work for you, and then go for it. Get out there, start experimenting and make your own. Special thank you to Sword for sending this gear out for me to make this rig video, and I hope to see you all out there enjoying yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you like this channel, and I'll see you on the next video. For your chance to receive a free base chest rig, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to Woody Outdoors channel and leave a comment on this video, and you could be the selected recipient. It's that easy to get a head start on your own rig build.